Lisa from the Cherry on Top and Creative Design Studio, back with another tutorial, and this time I'm going to show you how to design some solid papers for a digital scrapbooking kit. First off, I always start my designs with a color palette. Choose a color palette, hit up Pinterest, you can find some pretty cool things there, or just get an image or a photograph of something where you really like the colors, and then you can use your color picker and develop your own color palette. That's what I did here. I took a bunch of colors that I liked and just tried to get it all matched up and shaped up, and then someone did a gamut check for you. I don't know all the details about Gamut, but I do know that if you're going to have it printable, it should be Gamut checked. If it's just for digital and just for on a screen, then it's not that important. That's what I heard or read, so we'll stick with that one. What I want to do first, again, is bombard you with ideas. As I mentioned in other videos, anytime you provide a pack of papers, you should always provide solid papers that coordinate with those design papers. You always need to have some kind of texture, and that is a lot of what we'll be talking about today. I'm showing you the many different kinds of ways to add texture to a solid paper. That's what we're focusing mostly on today. So I'm just perusing you through the many types of texture that I have. These are all my papers. They're not all my textures, and some of these are commercial use, and some of these are for personal use. Probably many of them are for personal use, but all these packs that these come from are sold for personal use only. So I'm trying my best, abiding by those licensing rules. Some of these are in layers. I'll go over those later. But always, unless you're selling a pack of textures, just sell your papers in JPG format. Sell them at a 12 by 12 or at an 8 by 11 if you feel like providing both. Why not? More and more people are getting into the 8 by 11 or whatever the American thing is, 8.5 by 11 or something similar to that. That's pretty cool, eh? That's gesso. I was just fooling around with how I can design my own gesso through shadows and bevels, because when I really look at it, it looks like, well, it looks like here it's like a little bit of an inside shadow going on, and this looks like a bevel. So I don't know. I was just fooling around with it and seeing if I can come up with something digitally. This is called distressed. You see this darker, like check pattern over the top? I dig that. And then I also added an extra border around the edges. I think that makes it pretty neat. So as you can see, the solids aren't really all that solid. Okay, here's where I'm supposed to shut up and tell you about dark papers. Oh my goodness! Dark papers and white papers are very difficult to show texture on. So it's essential that you get some kind of texture that's really deep, like you can really look into these cracks and stuff like that. And then here I put just a splash of another color that you can just barely see all throughout. It's just a splash because it is extremely difficult to get texture. Now look over here, I actually saved the layers. Let me show you. If I get rid of the background, which is probably just some kind of paint bucket, it really looks like it can use a texture now that I see it. You see that? Those are 2 layers there. I'm going to get rid of another layer. There you go. So it looks like I put a bunch of layers together so that I get some type of visual texture here. If I added a little bevel and some more texture to my background paper, that would have been mad awesome. It would look a lot better. Here is a cool, like a crease going through it. I'm pretty sure I just changed the color of this one. I'm sure I bought this textured paper and just had to change the color. So there you see that, but it isn't easy to do dark shades. This was pretty cool if you like this wrinkled paper look there. It works well with black. And here you have to really look closely, but you can see a beautiful line texture going throughout. I dig that too. And here I also left a layered file for you. If I take that off. See, that's how the grunge comes, or the grain, or whatever you want to call it. And then you could just take your paper and right clip over it, and then you get this look. And of course my background paper also has a texture, and I'm going to show you how those work too with an add-on or style. I was talking in another video how some of my design papers have like 25 layers. Well, this one doesn't have 25 layers, but it has a lot. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This has 6 layers. I'm just going to go through and show you all the different layers. We'll just make them invisible each time we go. You can see them disappearing. And that's the one I started off with. And then I just added a few subtle ones because what I love to do, because as a scrapbooker, I love to get a scrapbooking paper that has all the colors from the entire collection in it. I know it might sound crazy, but look, this was a really, I don't know what I was thinking when I came up with this color palette for this particular kit, but as you can tell, it's a little intense and kind of retro weird, but this paper looks pretty cool. And you can see all the different colors from the collection. There's orange, there's this fuchsia, there's yellow, there's blue, and you can see them all in one paper. I love it as a scrapbooker when a designer provides several papers that has all the colors in it. It's really simple for us to tie them in. Now you may have heard of something called an overlay. This is from Mommy-ish. She only sells for personal use. She sells CU, but then you can only sell it for personal use. But maybe you can find some stuff like this in the shop. I love an overlay like this. It's wonderful. You could really do all kinds of stuff. I'm just going to run through real quick, and then we'll put a couple to use so you can see exactly how to do it. This one's really good too. That's a super good one. That's from Fleurix. She also only sells CU for PU, but really neat. And this is a neat way for you to get some ideas of what you can do. Here I grabbed one of these. I remember the first time I got one of these, I was like, what the heck am I supposed to do with that? I didn't even know what to do with it because it is, as you can see up here, it is a JPG. I'm going to call it a JPEG. You'll get used to my little terms that I call things. What you can do to make this work, I go up here to this little circle, half-colored circle, and click on Hue Saturation and Colorize. Ta-da! I don't know if you saw just a second ago before I had a green shade in there. I used the green shade from my color palette here. I think it was the soft, mossy color green. And then you can go over here and sweeten it up here. Make it, you could really play with it fun. Let me reset it to where it was. Oh, colorize, colorize. There we go. Oh, and now I lost my green shade. How about, look here, you can go like this. You can get almost any shade you want. See, that's a green shade there. And like I said, my green is kind of mossy. So if I get rid of the saturation, see, it becomes desaturated. And my green is almost blue. So I can keep sliding that over until I get to an almost blue-green. Maybe desaturate a little bit more. We'll see. We can get in there and tweak it. That looks pretty darn good to me. And then you can also click that same circle, and this time click on levels. And you can really change it now. You can go lighter, darker, 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 lighter. Just play. That's what I do. I love it. I just play, 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 play. See what kind of thing you can get at. See what you like. I liked a little bit more intense. Let's go back here. Because see down here you also have lightness. That's what I used before. And I came up with quite a nice paper. See, like this? But make sure all your papers are the same size. Of course you're going to do that. I'm sure you know that. 12 by 12. Now this is some kind of 9 by 7. So maybe what I would do is go File, New, Blank. And then I'm going to put my initials for my name, Creative Design Studio. It's called Gnome for All Seasons. I'll abbreviate because that's a rather long title. And this is solid paper. And I can't remember what number I'm on. Let me just put 7. Name it. And now I'll take my little paper that I just did and I'll put it like this. And we'll fit it just right. And we can turn it if we want. Maybe we'll turn it to the right for something a little different. Oh, I think I dig that. I really like this lighter side of it too. So I'm going to size it so that I have that little light side there. I think that's neat. It adds something a little different to it. And then what we'll also do, since we don't want to just take that person's thingy, their, whatever you call it, their JPG there, we're going to pimp it up and we're going to change it a bit. I quite like it the way it is, so I don't want to put something too dramatic over it. I think that might be too dramatic. We'll see. Oh, I kind of skipped a step. What you want to do typically is go in and let's just take our color picker. And what I often do is I make solids for all of my papers. Let me just take this one for now. And then we'll go here, file, new, blank. We are making solids. But even to make your solids, you need solids to make your solids. And then they'll come out exquisite. Trust me on this one. Okay, known for all seasons. What did we say? Solid paper. Let's just put 8. I think we said 7 last time. I'm going to use this bucket. See the paint bucket over here? Bloop. There we go. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you, which is so cool, and if you know of anybody in the design studio and design bundles who sells these things, please let me know. I have a designer friend of mine who designed these texture styles. You install them and you can see them right here. And oh my goodness, people, it makes life so simple. You have to simplify this layer, see? Now I can do it. Before I wouldn't be able to do it. And then you choose. Look, you just click. And look very carefully. That's a light style. But I like it because it doesn't mess up my color too much. But see, it's so soft you hardly see it. I'm going to right-click Simplify. I'm going to go back to my effects. I'm going to click it again. And you see how it's changing? And now it's a little bit better. I'll do it one more time. It's such a subtle change. We'll do it again. But you can do that for all these. Let me just show you the different kinds real quick. See, there's that one, and that one, and that one. And you'll see, ooh, I kind of like this result. I'm going to leave that. But what you'll see is, depending on the color, what texture is going to work best. So just float through them all. Be patient. Float through them all. And see what looks the best. Okay, so I put that one in there. I'm going to right click and create a clipping mask. See? Now this is supposed to be solid paper, not a design paper. And this is a bit intense, but a couple things you can do. You can work with all kinds of blending modes and stuff like that. I often just mess with the opacity. You can mess with your levels again and change everything. I'm just going to see those harsh dots are getting smaller and smaller. It's a really neat way to add texture. Yeah, I dig it. Okay, I like that. All right, you get it just the way you like it. Now it is a little light here in the corner. If we chose to use this again, hey, let me show you actually how to do that too. We're going to double that, and then it'll intensify, as you can see. I'm just going to turn it to the right and see what happens. And then we can change it vertical and see what happens. Oh, we got a completely different look. Oh, it's pretty cool. Now, I don't think I want to use the same color again. I want to use a different color. And if I was a good girl and did what I was supposed to and made my whole set of solid papers, I would be all set and I could just fly through and clip in all these papers. Blank file, name your file. Solid paper. Let's just put 10. I'm losing track, but if you do that, it's no big deal. You can always go back when you're all finished and renumber or rename everything in your file and for your files. We'll get all into that kind of details too about how you can name your files and stuff to make it convenient for your clients. Okay, wow, that is such a subtle difference. I can hardly see the difference between the beige and the yellow. I'm going to duplicate that layer again, and let's see if we can tell a difference. It's kind of getting a nice yellowy glow, but look here, you can see, really, we did totally change. Wow, that's so fun. We totally changed that up. So that's up to you. This is looking a little bit more like a design paper, I think, but I still like the effect. That's pretty neat. Okay. All right, so let's look at another way we can design one. This was one that I had ready. Well, just at least that paper. Let's grab a color. Let's grab pink. Ooh la la. Pink, here we go. We got our pink. We're going for our bucket. Bloop. There we go. We need some kind of texture. I'm going to just go. It's a darker color, so I probably have to go for See, if you didn't double click that box, you can always do that. See, this is super, super soft and subtle. I love it. But don't you just love that in a click you can have some texture? And seriously, some people do that. They'll get all their basic colors and they'll just go through and they'll click, 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 click all those papers that they made, like we just did with the bucket, but for all the colors, and they'll just click until they have their whole pack done. And you can do that. People like that. It's okay. But I always like to offer a little more. So what I will do here, let's just play with something else. Let's just grab something. What's that? Oh, that's just a green. Let's throw this here. And you can get some really soft, soft, soft textures, or you can get ones that are a little more intense, like these. These are quite a bit more intense. Ooh, that is definitely rather intense. Make sure you go to the end. See, I didn't go right to the edge. And sometimes I see a paper or two where the designer didn't make it to the end. And that doesn't look so great. All right, we have that. Now, we want to pick a color that would be really close to that. There's lots of different ways you can do it. I'm just going to take this one for now, and we're going to see how it goes. We're going to file, new, blank file. Going to name it again. No, for all seasons, and then solid paper 11, paint bucket, boom, there we go. And then we should put a little bit of effect on there. There we go, there. It's a light color. Ooh, let's just try all the light ones. That's a light one, that's a light one. See but how much darker it got? It really changed the color. I dig the texture on this one, but I thought the color change was too great, so I'm going to stick with that. Now let's go back to where we were. We were here. We're going to slide in this pink over the top. Right click, create a clipping mask. See, that is like, whoa, okay. That's a little bit too much of a contrast, I think, in the colors. So we can mess with the opacity and really bring it down. That's kind of interesting. Let's do what we did before and duplicate the layers. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to turn off my notifications. Let me do that. And then what you just need to do is flip it, either horizontally or vertically, however you want. See how we really softened that up now? I dig it. And if you see, you could really play and get it exactly where you want it. And we can even play with the other one. See, you see, I can see that you barely see it, but there's just a black line here. And now you see with these things here that I'm not to the edge. Very important. Always be to the edge or over it. So you don't have those kind of mistakes that show. That's a big time no. I might have one there. And you know what you can do? Just amplify that. And then double check and see. See here? I see it too. I see it. Which one is that one? Is it that one? Yes, it is. Usually you should use the corners, but for this kind of texture, it's okay. Now, I think we're good now. Oh, wow. That looks really cool, amped up like that. I dig that texture. Wow. Okay, see, this I like. What we can do is we can merge it, and that's what you do. You just play around until you get what you want. Maybe you want it a little bit less obvious. And just play with that opacity, or use masks, or play with those levels like I showed you on the other one. That's pretty neat. I think it would look great with an edge. Let me show you how to do that quick. I'm going to click up here, and then I have a new layer, you see? And then I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to do grid. And this way I'll get a nice straight line. Then I'm going to go to brushes. Oh, I know I was on some crazy brushes. I was trying to figure out how to make gesso. I stumbled across something and I thought, ooh, that looked so cool. Maybe I want something a little more flowy. A little more, yeah, like this. And then dissolve. I like dissolve. I am not a pro at using brushes. I've only really just started. It's so fun. Oh my gosh, you could just go on forever and play and tweak and alter. It's really fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an edge. Let's just try this size. Well, that's another thing when you have the grid. Sometimes it really takes you to some crazy places. Oh, see, it's not perfect. I really like this where it ended up. I'm going to undo And yeah, sometimes you gotta just keep going until you get exactly the look you want. I remember trying to do this before. It doesn't always come out perfect. I should save the brush. That's what we should do. Save it. Oh my goodness, now I lost the thing. Where is it? There it is. And I just, if you follow the line and try to follow the line. This is why you shouldn't have a glass of wine. I'm not saying I did. Not yet. Not yet. Sometimes I might have a glass of wine while I'm designing, but yeah, keep in mind, what is it you want to design first? Because, yeah, if you have a glass of wine or two and try to do this, it might be taking you a long time to get these lines just right. You might know some other tips or tricks to make it easier. Now, I'm going to get rid of this grid. Oh, my God, that thing drives me crazy. Now, look, you can see, oh, that's so fun. I really like it. And I could have made it bigger and brought it in further. If it's a little too much contrast for you, go back to the opacity and chill it out. There we go. I like that. There are so many things you could do to change things. You got brush settings. You've got, if you click over here, you've got, look at all these things you can do. I'm not even going to get into all that. I'm just trying to get you started with the basics. But just play around. Oh my goodness, I've been using this program for so long and I still have so much to learn. So let's just do maybe one more paper. Let me see. Here you see that I used the bucket. And I just used an effect like you saw me on all the other ones to get this little bit of texture in, which of course you can do, but I thought maybe we'll show you one other example. What was it I was playing with? Oh, I was playing with that in the black and it came out pretty cool. Let's see how it comes out on the beige. So here's just, this is apparently snow. But yeah, I thought it looked pretty good either way. What often you can do is use your papers. Even sometimes I use design papers over the top and go. It's really fun and it's really cool. Let's play with something here. Let's just duplicate that layer. I'm going to put it over the top and we're going to create a clipping mess. Of course, it's going to come out just the same, right? Of course. And then we're going to merge those layers. So now that snow is not black anymore, at least. See what happens? You can barely see it, but now you can see that it's not black. Then what we can do is we can go to our Hue Saturation. This is such a cool tip. I was so glad when I figured this out. And I only figured part of this out later. I'll explain it in a minute. Let me get rid of this so we can see it a little better here. You can change the colors, right? Ooh, I had that pinky color. Hey, that pink really looks like our pink. Let's stick with that one. Okay, and then we're going to go right click and create a clipping mask. See? Oh, that pink matches really well down here, I think. Okay, maybe just a little bit less saturation. A little less pink, maybe. Oh, it's looking kind of purple, actually. Let's see if we can make it a little more pink. Is that more purple? Is that more pink? All right. Okay. You can tweak and play with that until you get it just the way you want. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge this so I can mess with it. Otherwise, it's going to be a pain in the butt. I'm going to right-click duplicate, just like I showed you before. I'm going to come over to the move tool. You need to be on there and able to move stuff. And then we'll turn it right. I see, look, I see that this is just not on the page. Like I said, it's better to have it off the page than not, and just not on. Okay, now we have all that, and then we can merge those, and we can keep going if we want. Let's just try it. Turn to the right. Oops, I forgot to duplicate first. Right-click duplicate. Okay, and then we'll turn that one to the left, maybe. And maybe vertical. See, I don't like that. I don't like that overlapping the way it's doing. Nope, nope, nope. You can leave it like that if you like it, but I don't like it. I'm going to delete it. Okay, and now it looks too much like a design paper, I think, at this point. So I'll probably just bring it down a little bit. So now I have just this nice little soft thing over the top there, and I will definitely put a grain over it. I love, love, love grains. Here, let me give you one example. I have a whole bunch of these. Man, I don't know where I bought it. I know they're commercial use. And I love them. They are so useful. They come in, like this is a pretty heavy grain. It just gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. It is so awesome. I love to use these. I use them all the time. Big shout out to whoever See the lovely texture I just got there? Oh, I love it. You see, here, let me zone you in. Let's zoom in. Look at all that texture. That's pretty awesome, right? And you saw how easy it was. We put a grain over it, we clipped in a paper over it, and we have this awesome textural result. Okay, that's it for solids. We will definitely hit up design, but you can imagine the design is very similar to what we've done now. Thanks so much for checking out my video again. Good luck designing some awesome digital scrapbooking products. And if you have any questions, hit me up. Lisa Troch. I'm in the group on Facebook. The last name is Troch.